fictional period. Many of the writers I'll be interviewing base their works on the overall feel of the period, which is centered around the formation of America and the deaths of people during the Revolutionary War. Our first guest is William Cullen Bryant. He is a famous poet that wrote Thanatopsis, which is praised for its unique style. How did the public react to your poem, Mr. Bryant?
Well, the editors that read Thanatopsis made a comment that said, "No one on the west side of the Atlantic is capable of writing such verses." My work was so good that a literary critic named Thomas Holly Shivers accused me of stealing line for line from the Spanish. Although my poem was good, it took me over 5 years to earn just $14.92. It wasn't possible to make a living off of writing poems and other literary pieces back then, and that's all I have to say.
Edgar Allan Poe is our next guest. He wrote his works during the end of the early national period. He is famous for his deep and dark poetry that brought out the darkness of the Revolutionary War and the misfortunes of his own life. How do you feel about your success, Mr. Poe?
Well, first of all, I wasn't famous until after I was dead. I guess you could say I'm like the Michael Jackson of poetry.
Your poems are dark and depressing. Why did you write like this?
Well, my life was full of tragedy. When I was a younger boy in 1810, my parents died. And in 1829, my foster mother died. And both my brother and wife died of tuberculosis. These three factors are what drove me to write dark poems. That's all I have to say.
Some of the novels written during the early national period were classified as sentimental novels. The first American novel was actually a sentimental novel, and it was written by William Brown, whom is here today to tell us more about his book.
My book, The Power of Sympathy, tells the story of two siblings that fall in love with each other without knowing they're siblings. That's all I have to say.
Important women such as Susanna Rawson also wrote novels during this period. Her novel, Charlotte Temple, was her most popular work. Charlotte Temple is a novel that warns the reader not to listen to the voice of love. Sadly, Charlotte cannot speak with us today because she couldn't be here. Hannah Webster Foster's novel, The Coquette, was published in 1797. Her novel is about Eliza Wharton, and she has to choose between two different men. Eliza doesn't choose either one, and both of the men leave her and live out their lives separately. Rawson, Foster, and Brown's novels both reflect a person's responsibility to make choices and not rely on one's own passion, but to use reason to make choices. These books were written while America was being developed in order to show how to make decisions correctly so that society could survive as a whole.